So your organization just won a grant. First off, a huge congratulations. That is no small feat. But, as the celebration starts to wind down, a whole new journey is just beginning. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Think of this next phase like a quest, where mastering grant administration is your key to victory.
Okay, so the proposal is finally done, the award letter is in hand, you can take a breath, but just a quick one, because this is where the real adventure begins. And it's about so much more than just spending the money. It's about proving you're a trusted steward of that funder's investment in your mission.
The very first step on this quest is a little reality check. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking of a grant as free money, but let's be real, it's a binding legal contract. And that feeling that the hard part is over? Well, writing the proposal was tough, for sure, but the real work of actually doing the project and reporting on it has just begun. This isn't just a bunch of paperwork. It's about protecting your organization's reputation and its future. To succeed on any quest, you've got to have the right tools, right? Well, your first 30 days after you get that award are all about forging them. This setup phase, it's absolutely 100% critical.
I love this analogy because it is just so true. I mean, think about it. If you build a house on a shaky foundation, the whole thing is at risk. Getting your systems in order right at the start ensures that everything you do for the next year or 2 or 3 is built on rock-solid ground.
So what does this foundation actually look like? Well, it boils down to these 4 key steps. First, you've got to dissect your award documents. That's your rule book, your Bible for this project. Second, build tracking systems for everything, finances, activities, you name it. Third, create a master calendar with every single deadline plugged in. And fourth, set clear documentation standards so your whole team knows what's expected from day one.
All right, once that foundation is solid, you are officially ready to start walking the path, day by day. This is the main part of the journey, where you put all those brand new systems into practice.
And probably the #1 rule you have to burn into your brain is this concept of allowable costs. It sounds simple, but it has huge implications. Every single dollar you spend has to be necessary for the project, it has to be reasonable, and it has to be specifically permitted by your funder. Get this wrong, and I'm not kidding, you could be forced to pay that money back.
Let's look at some real-world examples to make this super clear. Program staff salaries? Yep, totally allowable. They're directly doing the work. Office rent? Usually that's fine as an indirect cost that supports the project. But things like alcohol for a celebration or lobbying lawmakers, that's a hard no, almost universally unallowable. Knowing the difference here will save you a world of headaches. Now, things get a little more, let's say, structured when you're dealing with federal money. Purchasing isn't just about finding the best deal, it's about proving you've followed a fair process. The more money you spend, the more hoops you have to jump through, from getting a few quotes all the way up to a formal public bidding process. And that last point, non-negotiable. You always have to check that your vendors are even allowed to get federal funds in the first place. Okay, I want you to remember this number, burn it into your memory. $750,000. Why? Because if your organization spends that much or more in federal funding in a single year, it triggers what's called a single audit. This is a massive, organization-wide audit of all your financial systems and compliance. It's a huge undertaking, and you really have to be preparing for it all year long. Okay, so you're tracking your money, you're following the rules, but how does your funder know about all the amazing work you're doing? That's where reporting comes in. And please, don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as your chance to tell the story of your success and build even more trust with your funder. And this is what that rhythm usually looks like over the course of a year. It's this constant cycle of telling them what you did, that's the programmatic report, and what you spent, the financial report. See why that master calendar you made in the first 30 days is so important? It makes sure you're never scrambling at the last minute to pull all this together. Every great journey has to come to an end, right? In the world of grants, we call that the closeout. And how you finish is every bit as important as how you start. A really strong closeout paves the way for your next grant. And here is your guide to a clean finish. But the biggest piece of advice I can give you here is to start early. Seriously, 6 months before the grant ends is not too soon to start planning. You need that time to reconcile every penny, write up your final outcomes, and figure out what to do with any equipment you bought. And remember, your job isn't done when the report is in. You have to hold on to those records, often for 3 years or more. So there you have it. You've made it through the entire quest. From laying the foundation, to managing the daily tasks, to telling your story, and closing it all out like a total pro. So, what's next?
This is really the ultimate reward. Great grant management isn't just about following rules to avoid getting in trouble. It's a strategic advantage. It proves your organization is professional and reliable. It builds this incredible trust with your funders, and it turns them from just donors into true partners in your mission.
Look, by getting this right, you've done so much more than just manage some money. You've built up your organization's capacity and proven you're ready for even bigger challenges. You're not just a grant recipient anymore, you're a trusted leader. So with these new skills and all of this newfound trust, what incredible journey are you going to lead next?